Okay, you're live and you have 7 o'clock, but you only have 3 members currently.
Okay. Let's give them
Anna,
a,
can you hear me?
yes.
It's Barry, holding on the line, just so you know.
Okay, Barry, okay. Carrie, do you have him?
I do. Does somebody have a connection in the background that's active in addition to their computer? Oh. All right. That was Barry's line, apparently. He just dropped out.
You still only have 3 people, Carrie?
Correct.
So how many minutes should we wait? A couple more?
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's just
Nice.
7:01.
Okay.
We just need one more to pop on, so.
Hello?
Hi.
Hi, this is Ephraim Lopez,
Hey,
representing
how are
Derek.
you?
Good. I'm representing Derek Yi Yuan for the property in 1 Carson Road.
Correct. We're waiting for one more board member, so
Can you guys hear me?
we can, yes.
Okay, yeah, because we're having a little phone trouble. I hung one of them up. I think that was the issue you were having before. Just wanted to let you know.
Perfect. So you've also got your 4 now, Anna.
Okay. We'll wait another minute. How's that?
Okay, sounds good.
Carrie, do you know if all the applicants are on?
I've got representatives for every property except for numbers 3 and 5, 30 East End Ave and 110 Chestnut Street.
Okay. Did they say if they were coming?
I've not heard that they weren't.
Okay.
We did send notice to did he confirm that he received a invite or whatever?
Nobody confirmed, no.
Oh, because he like emails our office like 14 times a day, so.
What one was that, Steve? 30 East?
I don't have I'm not in my office, so I don't have the paperwork. It's whatever the East End Ave one was, the garage one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
30. Okay. And that, we don't know if he's here yet. And we don't
He
know
is
if
not on the line.
110. Okay, and 110 Chestnut, that's not on the line.
Correct.
I say at 5 after, Carrie, we start. We have about 1 minute, maybe a little
Sounds good.
less.
Barry, can you hear me?
Yep.
Is there a limit of 12 people that I can see at a time?
Are you on what kind of device are you on?
I'm on a MacBook.
You'll see 12. Once number 13 comes on, you'll see an arrow on the right-hand side of your screen that will allow you to switch.
Got it. Thanks.
Yeah, absolutely. You've got 5 after, Chair.
Okay, let's start the planning commission meeting for the city of Oneonta for July 15th, 2020. Call roll.
Chair Tomato,
Here.
Vice Chair Overby,
Here.
Commissioner Holden,
Here.
Commissioner Maskin, not present. Commissioner Stanton, not present. Commissioner Thomas,
Yes, here.
Commissioner Lappin, not present. And Councilmember Risberger.
Here.
You have a quorum.
Okay, approval of the minutes of meeting held February 19th.
I'll make a motion. We approve the minutes from February 19th.
Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Do we have any questions about that motion, that approval? Because it's been a while. Does anybody have anything they want to add or take out or have any questions about it? All right, call roll.
Chair Tomato,
Yes.
Vice Chair Overby,
Yes.
Commissioner Holden,
Yes.
Commissioner Thomas.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Correspondence.
Got 4 items of correspondence. 2 pertain to the property and application for 443 Main Street. The second one is, or the additional 2 are for 110 Chestnut Street. Do you want them held until the properties are discussed, or do you want them read now?
I think that might be best to do it right before we can do that. We can read them right before so we can get started. And then right before, just remind me, you said we've got how many for 443 Main
2
Street?
for 443. And
Okay.
then you have an additional 2 for 110 Chestnut.
Okay. Okay.
And your
Just remind me,
applicant
I
for
might forget.
30, yeah, your applicant for 30 East End Ave just entered the meeting as well.
Perfect. Any petitioners that are on that would like to speak on behalf of anything that we have on the agenda, or if there's anything else they would like to discuss with the board? Do we know of any, Carrie?
You have a couple on. I do know that Mr. Maragliano is an applicant for 443 Main. Mr. Nadler, I believe, is here as well for 443 Main. Mr. Singh is the property at 470, 476 Main Street. Mr. Chiang for 30 East End Ave. And then Mr. Lopez for 1-3. But I do have the Maycombers. If you could identify which property you're here for. You're muted.
Are you asking me? Hi.
Hi, nope, you're here for 30 East End Ave,
Right,
correct?
Right. Yes, correct. Yes.
All right, we'll get to you shortly. Mr. Maycomber, which property are you here for?
30 East End Ave.
Perfect.
Throw my voice over there. It's kind of.
Excellent. And then I have a female that doesn't have a name attached in the black tank top.
Hi,
There we go.
I just got notice about the 443 Main Street and was just curious to learn some details because they're neighbors, kind of.
Perfect. Thank you. All right,
Okay.
so that's who you have on the line.
Who do I have on the line? I'm sorry.
You've got applicants for 443 Main and petitioners for 443 Main to be heard. You've got 470, 476 Main Street applicants. You have 30 East End Ave applicant. And then 1-3 Carson. You have a representative for the applicant.
Okay, Carrie, this is what I'm wondering for this, since we're not in person. Can we listen to the correspondence and the petitioners right before each one? So I'll, once we do the applicant, I'll see if there's any petitioners at that moment for that particular piece. Can we do it that way?
Absolutely. Yeah, and it may
Okay,
be
so let's
easier to
get-
keep it all together.
Yes, okay, that's what I thought. All right, so let's start with the applicant. The address is for 3 Carson Road. Frank, are you there?
Yes, I'm here. Hello, folks.
Frank,
Is there any petitioners that would like to say anything on behalf of 1 to 3 Carson Road?
We have
All right, Frank.
we have a problem with that property. We
Who's,
don't have, we don't
okay,
have,
please state your, who's that? Is that you, Ed? Yep,
can you hear me?
Yes.
We don't have the SEAF is not complete on that property.
it was done at the last meeting. He was told to come back and just supply additional information for the site plan. So the seeker's already been done. He was just told that he didn't have enough information as part of his site plan.
okay. Did you just put that up for us, Steve?
No,
I
Carrie.
did, so that
Okay,
you can
thanks.
see it.
Okay,
I think it had been decided that it was a type 2 or a type 2 or a low impact. Because I emailed Danny about it. He said that it had already been completed.
Oh, that's right. We already did the seeker at the February meeting, didn't we?
Yeah, so he was just told that he needed to provide additional information on his site plan in regards to parking, setback, some map stuff, which I think he has now.
Right, we
And I-
got that, yes.
Okay,
okay, so that was, we decided that was an unlisted type 2 action.
I think it was decided that it was either a type 2 action or it was considered something that was a low environmental impact. But I can't remember exactly what the board. We'd have to look at the minutes.
Yeah.
But it's
I
already been
remember now.
finished.
So basically, then tonight for Frank, all we need to do is approve or disapprove his site plan,
Correct.
because did everybody get on the board? Did everybody get the extra plans that he added, the supplement plans?
I did.
I did.
Okay, so are we ready to move forward with Frank's application?
Yeah.
In that case, I'll make a motion that we approve the site plan.
Do we
Second.
have a second?
Second.
Perfect. Okay. Call roll, Carrie?
Chair Tomato,
Yes.
Vice Chair Overby,
Yes?
Commissioner Holden,
Yes.
Commissioner Stanton. I know you just entered. I don't know if you want to vote or wait for the next application. Commissioner Thomas,
Yes.
it passes.
Perfect. Now, Stephen, we need to approve or disapprove of the special use permit as well. Is that separate from the site plan, right? We don't have it added. We gotta do this separate.
Right, so you would so basically what's happened is he had to apply for a site plan and a special use permit. So once you guys approve the site plan and the issuance of the special use permit, all he has to do is file the rest of the paperwork with us and he's done. So it's just like the fraternities. So you guys approve this, you guys would approve the special use permit.
I'll make a motion to that effect.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Call roll?
Chair Tomato,
Yes.
Vice Chair Overby,
Yes?
Commissioner Holden,
Yes.
Commissioner Stanton, Commissioner Thomas,
Yes.
passes.
Okay, Frank, you finally got it. I know it's been a long road.
Thank you. No, I really appreciate your commitment to this committee and Oneonta folks.
Well, we appreciate it. Thank you for being patient with
And,
us, and good luck.
And Stephen Yarley, special thank you to you. You've been extremely helpful.
Thanks, Frank.
All righty, guys. Beautiful. Have a great night.
You too.
All
You
right,
too.
thanks. Take care.
Okay, bye. Bye-bye. Bye.
Bye-bye. Okay, so the second agenda item is 443 Main Street, and we have somebody on for 443 Main Street.
You have an applicant and you have a number of petitioners to be heard in addition to 2 pieces of correspondence.
All right, let's listen to the correspondence, if you wouldn't mind.
Okay. No, not at all. So the first item comes from Mr. and Mrs. Nadler, property owners at 2 North 6th Street. And they state, as the owners of the property on 2 North 6th Street, we have some concerns regarding the planned construction of apartments on 443 Main Street proposed by Thomas Casey. We have reviewed the construction plans for the property and do not believe it to be feasible for a 12-unit apartment complex to be constructed on that site. We have outlined our concerns about the property below. On the environmental assessment form, Thomas Casey states that the proposed action will not result in a substantial increase in traffic. We believe that this is false. A 12-unit apartment complex will undoubtedly result in a substantial increase in traffic in the surrounding area. Not only will the 12 tenants themselves increase the level of traffic, but their guests as well. We foresee a problem where the area will not be able to accommodate that amount of cars. The excess of cars from the apartment complex will most likely illegally park at businesses on Main Street or on surrounding streets that do not allow street parking, causing a headache for businesses and residents on Main Street, as well as disturbing the flow of Main Street traffic. The plan for the apartment complex includes 12 parking spaces. We believe that 12 spaces will not be enough parking for an apartment complex that size. Furthermore, we do not believe that 12 parking spots can actually be realistically built on that property due to its size. We believe that a 4 to 6 unit apartment complex with 8 parking spaces can be realistically built within the 443 Main Street lot. On the environmental assessment form, Thomas Casey states that the proposed action is consistent with the existing character of the existing build and natural landscape. We also believe this to be false. An apartment complex of this size will alter the character of the existing neighborhood. The neighborhood surrounding the apartment consists of working class residents. We want to ensure that the quiet nature of the neighborhood remains the same. Therefore, we want more information about what kind of tenants will reside in the apartment complex. What will be the typical tenants that will reside in the apartment? Overall, we feel that a 12-unit apartment on such a small lot at 443 Main Street is too ambitious. The space is not enough space to accommodate a building of that size and the tenants. Furthermore, the building will negatively alter the quality of life that residents in the vicinity of the apartment enjoy. The seclusion and privacy that residents enjoy in that part of the first ward will no longer exist. We understand that available housing remains an issue for the city of Oneonta. Therefore, we have no issues with construction of smaller apartment complex that has less of a footprint on the surrounding neighborhood. A smaller apartment complex is a fair compromise for both current residents and Thomas Casey. Sincerely, Socorro Nadler and Andrew Nadler. And then your second correspondence is from Wendell Decker of 4 North 5th Street. This letter is related to the proposed apartment complex at 443 Main Street. Mr. Casey's plan is a good one. However, my objection is to the size of the project. 12 apartments is too much for this small area. 4 to 6 apartments would not overwhelm the site and would allow for ample parking. The larger number of apartments would block the view of the neighbors on the hill behind the site. With the numerous businesses in the area, traffic can be very congested. The city should consider a traffic light at 5th and Main if this project continues to be considered. North 5th is a dead end and 5th Street can be very difficult to exit due to the curve on Main Street. Please vet this plan carefully so that this residential neighborhood, the city, and Mr. Casey are satisfied with the result.
Sorry, I was asking you a question. I unmuted myself. So
That's okay.
So you have 2 petitioners. You said there's 2 petitioners here for this
Correct.
project?
One is to
Okay, let's-
overhear, to get more details and information on the project. I don't know if she wishes to speak, but the Maycombers do wish to speak.
Okay, we'll let them speak then.
No, we're not here for that one. We're just here for East End Ave.
Sorry, Mr. Justin Nabler is here for that. I apologize. You're right above each other, tile wise.
Yep.
Okay.
That's okay.
Yeah, so we wake up and we look at the lot, and our issue with just 12 apartments is we just don't see it that it's realistic to build such a lot, such a complex that size for the area. And we just believe it's more feasible to build a smaller apartment complex. It's his land. We have no, he could do what he wants. He could build an apartment on that complex. I feel like for long-term residents that everybody has to be involved, and a 12-unit complex is just the influx of traffic into the area is just gonna affect the nature of the neighborhood that we live in. And then I've talked to other residents around, and mostly the concern is that just too much traffic and too much noise. We love living here. We just bought the property, and we would just hate to see it affected that way. As far as like ideal tenants, that would be a big issue too. Like if it were students, it would have like a very different effect than from like senior housing or like just working class residents. And then how long would like the construction take for a project that size? And then the visitor parking too. So there's going to be 12 units, but realistically, if a couple is in that apartment complex, how many more cars are going to be added to that neighborhood? And then there's a bunch of businesses on Main Street. We have the doctor's offices. So I just don't see where all those cars will park. Thank you.
Okay. All right, so I'd like to close it to petitioners and then just let the applicant speak. Who's here for 443 Main Street? Is that you, Lee?
Yes, this is Lee Merigliano. I'm representing Tom Casey, and I'm the project architect for 443 Main Street.
Mm-hmm.
Can I share my screen with you folks?
Can you do that, Carrie?
Yep, you should be able to.
It says that host disabled participant screen sharing.
Well, let's fix that. All right, go ahead and try it now.
Okay. See if that works.
Yep.
Does that work?
Yeah, I can see it.
It does.
Is it legible, or should I zoom it in, or?
We're seeing a plan view of the property right now.
Right, this is the site plan, and to the left over here is the aerial view of the property. It's between Humphrey's Restaurant and the doctor's office. Down here are some images of the property, the sidewalk along Main Street, and the adjacent surroundings. So the proposal is the building is proposed to be a 2-story, 8,400 square foot multifamily dwelling. We're proposing 12 market rate 1-bedroom apartments. Each of the apartment will be approximately 680 square feet. This is a townhouse style building with an interior stair that serves the second floor apartments and an entry porch that serves 2 apartments down and 2 apartments up. The parking count for the property is 14 parking spaces, and we're proposing a walkway that connects all of the entry porches back down to the sidewalk, the existing sidewalk along Main Street. The minimum setback requirements are all exceeded based on the zoning. The density of the building, the zoning says that in this MU2 district, mixed use 2 district, that for every 1,000 square feet of land area, one dwelling unit is allowed. So if this property was maxed out, not that we could because of the parking constraints, 21 units would be feasible on this lot. We're proposing 12 units, 12 small 680 square foot, 1-bedroom units. The concerns about parking, each one of these tenants will be granted one parking space. So if they're a couple or a family unit that has more than one car, this wouldn't be the spot for them. So each unit gets one parking space, one labeled parking space, and then there's 2 extra parking spaces. This is can you see this? This is a rendering of the building.
Yes.
The idea was that there is some topography on the site. The site sort of slopes to the back. So these 3 units, this volume is broken up into 3 distinct sort of cubes, and they kind of step with the topography. The idea was to try to, rather than having one big monolithic building, break it up and give it a little bit of sense of neighborhood scale, and incorporating some porches and entry features, and also addressing the sidewalk on Main Street, connecting back to the sidewalk. So this is, I'm going to try to. So this is the floor plan layout of the units. They're all identical. So the first floor has 12 1-bedroom apartments, and the second floor also has 12 1-bedroom apartments. So basically there's some steps up to a porch, and then you can enter an apartment on the left or an apartment on the right, or go upstairs and enter a unit on the left or the right. It's just a large open living space with an L-shaped kitchen, refrigerator, stove, sink, dishwasher, washer, dryer in each of the units, full bathroom, and a large bedroom. The intent of the owner, again, these are market rate apartments. I don't think that the owner could restrict college students, but since they're 1-bedroom units, it's more geared towards a retired person or a single young professional. The quality of the units.
You said 12 identical units on each floor?
No, there's
12.
Sorry, there's 6 on each floor, total of 12.
Thank you.
So I think the price point of these apartments, because they will be fairly high end, probably are not suitable for a college person. Again, more like a young professional or a retired couple. So the one of the concerns was, and we looked at it, is there are some there really is one house that this project could impact, the house directly behind behind the property, but all of this land here will be level, will be parking, and the buildings all the way down here. There's this pretty significant slope up to this house, so and the building's a lot lower, on a lot lower plateau, almost 15 feet lower. So we did our best as possible to be mindful of the surroundings. And as far as the density of the project, I have to disagree that it's for this neighborhood that it is out of character or too dense, particularly based on the zoning ordinance and some of the larger buildings you see right across the street. And the building footprint itself is 4,400 square feet.
May I ask a question?
Sure.
Okay. I see there are steps to get into all of the apartments. Are any of them ADA compatible?
This
Because
apartment,
you can have older folks or you can have younger folks who do need accessibility.
yes, these two units back here have a level entry from the parking and the sidewalk.
And inside, are the bathrooms accessible and kitchen, that type of thing?
The bathrooms, based on the Fair Housing Act and the building code, the bathrooms have to be, they're called type B units. They have to have the ability to be converted for wheelchair accessibility if the need arises. So what that means is that the space inside the bathroom and the shower can accommodate a wheelchair. The kitchen turning radius can accommodate a wheelchair, but those features like grab bars and removing the vanity under the sink, those are features that are necessitated by a tenant. So in other words, they have to be adaptable, but they don't have to be built that way initially. They just have to be adaptable.
Okay.
So you could see there's steps to these units, but this is just a level porch into these two lower units.
And those are the ones furthest away from the Main Street sidewalk,
Correct.
where someone might be able to get the bus or something like that.
You know, I wish things could be perfect, but the problem is the way the site slopes.
Mhm.
There's right now currently there's a 5 or 6. These are existing stairs, so even the current condition doesn't allow for level access to the sidewalk on Main Street.
Mhm.
I'll even show you a picture that this is sorry, I'm having trouble. This is the existing sidewalk, and these are the existing steps. So you could see there's really no way to accommodate level access to the sidewalk other than, coming down the driveway.
Right. Well, I'm not even saying level access, but if somebody was disabled and they're all the way in the back, let's say, call them the back apartments, getting down, if they didn't drive themselves, getting down to Main Street for, say, the bus or anything, it's the furthest distance anybody has to go, rather than possibly being in the front apartments and having a shorter distance to get from the parking lot to the sidewalk. Not that there has to be directly a path into the apartment.
Yeah, no, that is a good point. The apartments closer to the road, though, because of the grading and topography, there are steps up to get into them. It's really level entry is only feasible in the back apartment, just based on the lay of the land, without a significant amount of excavating, filling of the site. But that's a good point. It's perceptive. Thank you.
Quick question.
Just that.
Planned groundbreaking and duration of time for construction? Any thoughts?
Well, all I can say is that we initially were scheduled, I think it was in March, to present this, and Tom's goal was to start construction this fall. But since things have been delayed, I would anticipate that construction will start next fall, and the duration would probably be about 9 months.
Great, thank you.
Can I ask,
Terry?
Steve, on that note, can I ask you a question? How long does site plan approval last? Let's say construction wasn't for a year from now.
Stephen, are you on?
Yeah, I'm right here.
Oh.
So
How long?
let me get you sorry, I'm just trying to get not sitting in my handy dandy office. So it depends kind of like when you start work versus if they don't start work at all. You get 2 years to sit on something.
Okay.
The weird thing with that is that if they secure a building permit, building permits expire after a year, but theoretically they could apply for a building permit, renew it, do some site work. As long as you're doing something, you can kind of sit on it, but you get 2 years before it's, if there's nothing done, if it's just, if it's just sitting, then it has to be redone.
Okay.
Carrie,
Yes.
I would like to shut it down to petitioners, and that way so the board can just ask Lee questions.
Okay.
So does anybody have any questions for Lee? From the board, planning commissioners? I don't see him. Lee, I actually have one. So it seems to me like, being the location, I highly doubt you're going to get college students. I mean, it's not impossible, but I highly doubt that far down Main Street you'll get students. But in the event that you don't get a single person and you do have a couple, will they anticipate having a parking issue, or they discourage them or let them know they only get one parking? Because I mean, it's pretty maxed out with 12 units, 14 parking spots.
Yeah, Tom and I had this discussion, and part of the lease agreement is one parking space.
Okay.
It'll be written into their lease.
Okay. All right. Ed, do you have any questions? I know Barry's on, Robert, Becky.
I'd just like to say that while I sympathize with the concerns that have been expressed by the petitioners and the correspondents, our purview is limited to whether this meets whether this fits with the zoning code or not. And so unfortunately, decisions like whether this belongs here or whether it fits on the lot and so forth, those were already made in 2013 when the new zoning code was voted in.
All right, that being said, Stephen, did you have any any concerns that the board needs to know?
I just had a question maybe for Lee. When you design this, and I understand the site limitations, obviously with the slope, et cetera. Is there a practical way that the building could front Main Street, or is that the only way you can site that particular building on that particular site?
Yeah, so Steve, we looked at countless number of options for siting the building with this minimum unit count at 12. And this was really based on the geometry of the site. This was the most efficient, only real practical way to do it. And I'm happy to share all those design iterations with you because that's how we started out, wanting to be a T-shaped building with long front facing Main Street. It just didn't work.
Okay.
Parking
that was only my curiosity.
But I'll share those iterations with you.
Okay. I mean, as far as the additional concerns cited about parking, and I mean, the building meets all the setback requirements, it meets the density requirements, it meets the parking requirements. I mean, I know that in one of the correspondences, there was some concern that they'd marked that on the environmental assessment form that wouldn't generate traffic, which this project, per the seeker handbook, it meets that requirement that does not generate what they consider to be substantial traffic changes. So, I mean, obviously we hit the problem with people that don't understand or haven't been exposed to that handbook go, well, 12 additional units is going to generate a lot of traffic. But kind of like what we saw with the lots on deeds, there you go. What the seeker handbook classifies as additional traffic turns and additional parking is not the same as what we just observe on the street as additional parking, additional traffic requirements. So, yeah, I mean, that's kind of what I would say about some of the correspondences in relation to this project and this application.
Okay, so we have to do a seeker for the site plan. So what would this be, a type, how would this be, Stephen?
I would need to see Carrie, do you have the memo that was provided with this application?
You want the memo? Yeah.
I think it was listed as just an unlisted action, but I think they filed a short form. I don't have the information right in front of me.
Yeah, you did list it, unlisted. All right, unlisted, I found, yes, got it, unlisted action.
Okay, there you go. And then you would just work through the part 2 of the environmental, the seeker form. That's the it lists the questions like, what does this trigger, or does this exceed? Carrie, do you know what I'm talking about?
Yep, I'm pulling it up now.
Part 2.
I have one here. Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, so we need to vote, do we make stuff the lead agency on that?
Yes.
Yeah.
All right, so we need somebody to make a motion for the seeker to make it an unlisted action and to make it a declare us
The planning
lead
commission would
agency.
declare, yeah, that's it.
Declare lead agency. Do you have a motion for anybody to do?
I'll make a motion that we become lead agency, or whatever we need to do. Who's seconding here? Who's making?
Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Okay, hang on, we're losing Ed for a second. So let's just wait. I want to see if there's any discussion on this before we make a vote. There he is. Ed, we got a motion and a second to be lead agency for the seeker.
I heard it all. I was just trying to turn on the light.
Okay, let's roll call.
Carrie Tomano,
Yes.
Vice Chair Overby,
Yes.
Commissioner Holden,
Yes.
Commissioner Stanton. You're muted. Yes, okay. Commissioner Thomas,
Yes.
motion passes.
Okay, so as lead agency, we have to do part 2. So Carrie, do you want to read them for us? And then if anybody, has anybody in the board, because what is it? Are they all yes or no's?
It is. It's,
Oh,
well,
there it
it's,
is. Thank you.
yeah, it's no or moderate to large impact. So for the property and project at 443 Main Street, will the proposed action create a material conflict with an adopted land use plan or zoning regulation?
This is an approved use in the zone.
Will the proposed action result in a change in the use or intensity of use of land?
It's still an approved, I mean, yeah.
Will the proposed action impair the character or quality of the existing community?
I'd say no.
Will the proposed action have an impact on the environmental characteristics that cause the establishment of a critical environmental area or CEA?
I don't think there's any listed on the application. I think when it was done, none came up.
We don't have any, the city of Oneonta doesn't have any CEAs.
Right.
Thank you, Ed.
Can I make a suggestion here?
Yes.
I've been all the way through this SEAF, and everything I looked at was small or no. And so could I suggest that unless someone wants to say otherwise, that we tick off the no's as we go along?
That's perfect.
Will the proposed action result in an adverse change in the existing level of traffic or affect existing infrastructure for mass transit, biking, or walkway? Will the proposed action cause an increase in the use of energy and it fails to incorporate reasonably available energy conservation or renewable energy opportunities? Will the proposed action impact existing public-private water supplies or public-private wastewater treatment utilities? Will the proposed action impair the character or quality of important historic, archaeological, architectural, or aesthetic resources? Will the proposed action result in an adverse change to natural resources, for example, wetlands, water bodies, groundwater, air quality, flora, and fauna? Will the proposed action result in an increase in the potential for erosion, flooding, or drainage problems? And will the proposed action create a hazard to environmental resources or human health? And there are no moderate to large impact occurs, so there's no reason for part 3.
Thank you, Carrie. Okay, so then we got the seeker done. So now we just got to approve or disapprove of this site plan review. Oh, the site plan.
We need to do a negative declaration.
Oh, yeah, sorry about that. It's been a while since we've been on board.
I should have, what I should say is I'm like to make a motion that we declare it negative.
We have a second? Thank you.
I second it. Can you hear me now?
Yeah,
we can.
Thank you.
Oh, Daniel's here.
Yep.
Okay, call roll.
Chair Tomeno,
Yes.
Vice Chair Overby,
Yes.
Commissioner Holden,
Yes.
Commissioner Stanton,
Yes.
Commissioner Thomas,
Yes.
and Commissioner Lappin, did you hear enough to make a vote?
I did not. I'll abstain.
Perfect. Thank you. Motion passes.
Perfect. Okay.
Yeah, feeling lucky.
All right, so we need to, so Danny, you just popped in. We declared ourselves lead agency with negative declaration for the project on 443 Main Street. So we're just gonna approve or disapprove the site plan and see if there's anybody that wants in discussion. Did you want to, since you just popped in, do you have any questions for Lee?
No, not at the moment.
Okay. Did anybody else on the board have any questions for Lee? Are we feeling comfortable on voting this evening? We just need a motion.
You ready for a motion to approve the SPR?
Yeah, if there's nobody, does anybody, you know, it doesn't seem like anybody has any more questions for Lee.
I make that motion.
Second.
Any discussion on that motion? Are we good to go? All right, Carrie, call roll.
Chair Tomeno,
Yes.
Vice Chair Overby,
Yes.
Commissioner Holden,
Yes.
Commissioner Stanton,
Yes.
Commissioner Thomas,
Yes.
Commissioner Lappin.
Abstain.
Motion passes.
All right, Lee, good luck. Be
Thank you
nice to
very
see
much,
that
folks.
develop. It's been undeveloped for quite a long time.
Yeah, yeah.
Hi,
Thank
can I
you very
just
much.
say something real quick?
What's that?
I just want to thank you guys for hearing my concerns and being able to voice our discussions today. So thank you for having me.
You're welcome.
Yeah, Lee's done work with in the city of Oneana, and I think that he's very kind to the neighbors, and he always works with people that are always willing to get the neighbors involved. So I feel like if there's any issues or there's something going on during construction or when they start, they probably wouldn't mind you coming down and having a chit chat with them. What do you think, Lee? You usually,
Absolutely, yes.
yeah, this is your first time doing something with it, so that's good. If you can just work with the neighbors and make them feel comfortable, I think that's everybody working together is what we need. Thank you.
Thank you, Lee. I look forward to talking to you.
Thanks, Justin. I'll see you.
Carrie, did you say that the third thing on the agenda is here?
Yes,
Okay,
John
so
is here for 30 East End Ave.
30 East End Ave, okay. Do we have any correspondence for 30 East End Ave?
None.
Do we have any petitioners that want to talk or ask anything about 30 East End Ave?
Ms. Sanders is waving at the camera.
Okay. Go ahead.
Oh, and she disconnected.
Okay.
So I had a quick question about the 443 Main Street. Since we did the neg deck, should we draft one in writing consistent with what we've been doing since the Dietz project?
We could do that. Who wants to take that? You usually take that initiative, Danny.
Yeah, I can do that.
You don't mind doing that?
No, I don't
All
mind.
right.
I'll send a draft.
You're right, you have been doing
even
that,
in
so
everybody.
you get all the notes and stuff. That would be good. That'd be awesome. And then, Carrie, did you say that we lost the petitioner for 30 East End Ave?
Yes, it's possible. She was here affiliated with 443 Main Street for information gathering. It's certainly possible that she was just waving goodbye to the camera. So.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so he was here for 30 East End Ave.
Mr. Chang is here for 30 East End Ave.
I think he's muted, so.
Yep, there you go.
You want me to say something about this project?
Yeah, John, if you could do that, that would be great. Can you tell us a little bit about what you want to do?
Yes, we just want to build a garage in the place of the old garage. Well, basically, nobody will be bothered. The garage is actually, my house is at the corner of the Chester Street and the East End Ave. And the garage is on the side of Chester Street. And there are about 50 feet between my house and the neighbor's property line. And the old garage is close to the property line of the neighbor on Chester Street. But the new garage is going to be shifted to my side of the property. So we'll leave about a large space between the property line of the neighbors and the new garage. And well, I mean, basically, nobody is going to be bothered. I asked the neighbor on the Chester Street already. They are fine with it. And there will be, I mean, I can possibly see that, you know, anybody or any property of the city will be, you know, bothered. The garage will be just I mean, the new garage will be just a standard 24 to 24. And there will be the parking between the garage, the front of the garage, the sidewalk. The sidewalk is going to be about 24 feet too. So no city property will be damaged.
Okay. So do you have any questions? The board have questions for this project on 30 East End Ave?
I have a question.
Yep.
I don't know how the other commissioners feel about this, but I'm a little uncomfortable with the fact that we have no construction document. We don't know, we haven't seen a plan view or an elevation view of the project. I think it'd be a good idea if we had if we knew more about what it's gonna look like when it's done.
Yeah, I said, I sent in some pictures, drawings, through the email to, I believe it's the code enforcement office. Yeah, something like that. Yeah, and some drawings, by my builder.
Uh-huh. So is that to scale?
Yeah.
So currently, so you're gonna be putting a 2-car garage. What is it? What size is it right now? Do you hold a car? Is it
Yeah,
2-car?
the older one is also a 2-car garage. It's about 20 to 25. So right now we want to make it like a square 24 to 24. This is the one that we're talking about. Yeah. Yeah, that's the older one. Yeah, the older one is not going to stand another winter. The picture really does not show the structure of the old garage. Some major main beams, they are cracked. It won't stand another winter. So we are going to, and this has been ordered to demolish, and we are going to demolish it as soon as we get the demolition permit. Yeah, see, that's the space. Yeah.
Does that building have insulation in it?
Huh?
Is there insulation in that?
No insulation. Yeah.
Okay. Somebody raised questions about asbestos, and that's the only thing I could think of where asbestos might be involved in that building. I don't think we have a concern about asbestos contamination. I don't know how anybody else feels about that.
Did you hear about that, Stephen?
I think the asbestos was concerned with 110 Chestnut.
Oh,
correct.
Okay, sorry.
Oh, I thought that was here.
No, not this one. That was the other one.
My mistake.
Okay. Does anybody have any more questions for John, or do you want to move forward? What was the other? Go ahead.
Is this new garage gonna go, I missed that, is it gonna go in exactly the same spot that the other one is torn down? The torn down one is? Is it just gonna tear down and put one in that spot, or is it gonna be somewhere else?
Yeah, no, it's in the same place. The new garage, yeah, it's going to be built in the same place, but it's going to be shifted. Yeah, we have a drawing here. We're going to shift it. Yeah.
Okay. Not too far, right? How far are you shifting it?
We're about 6 feet.
Okay, that's okay.
Yeah.
We're just moving it to meet the setbacks, Bob.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we have a pretty large space between my house and the property line of the neighbor, about 50 feet. I measured.
Yeah, right. Got it.
Thank you.
So Stephen, this is a type 2 action. So you're saying that because we noticed there was no small SCAF.
Yeah, it's a type 2 action. I mean, it's a construction of it actually is listed under type 2 actions specifically.
Yeah, it's also construction in kind in the same spot, and it's not likely to trigger any significant environmental impact at all. So.
Okay, so then let's just, all right, do we have any more questions? Do you want to move forward?
So the Board of Public Service directed this to be demolished, correct?
Yes.
Okay. I just wanted to make sure.
Yeah.
So we've got to make a motion here for the seeker then to just make it a type 2 action.
I'll make the motion.
Second.
Call roll?
Chair Camino,
Yes.
Vice Chair Overby,
Yes.
Commissioner Holden,
Yes.
Commissioner Stanton,
Yes.
Commissioner Thomas,
Yes.
Commissioner Lappin.
Yes.
Passes.
All right. So this being a type 2, Stephen, we don't have to do negative deck, anything like that, because it's got no action, right? Type 2
Yeah,
action.
it's just a type 2.
All right, so let's, if we have no more any more questions for him, let's approve or disapprove this site plan. Does anybody want to go forward with that?
So move.
I'll second.
Call roll?
Chair Camino,
Yes.
Vice Chair Overby,
Yes.
Commissioner Holden,
Yes.
Commissioner Stanton,
Yes.
Commissioner Thomas,
Yes.
Commissioner Lappin.
Yes.
Motion passes.
So John, now he's got to get a demo. It's got to go with you
A
now.
demolition permit and a building permit.
And he just goes to you to get that? We don't have to do anything with that?
Nope.
Okay, John, you got it. So you're all set to take down your garage and start something new.
Thank you so much. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Stephen. You spent a lot of time on this. I appreciate it. Thank you, Carrie.
You're welcome.
Yeah, just
Bye.
make you can do it all by email too. So if you just email us, I think we actually already have your application for building permit, don't we?
Yes.
We
yes,
have it,
Yeah.
Okay, good.
and we have
Yeah,
the
so
demo
we'll-
permit.
Okay, yeah, I'll sign it tomorrow and process it.
Okay, thank you, Stephen. Thank you. I really appreciate it.
You're
No
welcome.
problem.
Okay, so next applicant is 470, 476 Main Street, Taylor's Gas Station. Do we have any correspondence or petitioners? Carrie, on this one?
No, you have the applicant on the line.
Okay, so let's go ahead and move forward with them. Did they call in or are they on?
Nope, Mr. Singh is on. He's on video.
Okay. Why don't you tell us what you're thinking about doing?
Hi, yes, thank you. First of all, I'd just like to thank the Planning Commission for meeting today and discussing the projects. So basically, we are from the Milford area. We purchased the 470-476, the formerly Taylor's Mini Market in Main Street, Oneonta. So our company is Apple Express, and we purchased this gas station at the end of May, and we are currently we've been in the gas station business for over 15 years. We have one in Cooperstown, one in Milford. So this is our third location. So we are a family-run business, basically. And since we took over, and I just like to be very open about this, that we basically sell gas. There's an extremely small store currently, which is about 375 square feet, and it's due to COVID-19 regulations. Only one person is allowed inside. So as far as profitability, the last 4 months we have been basically in the red, because for a gas station to be profitable, the only way is to have a decent sized store where you're carrying a diverse set of products, because the gas just doesn't cut it. And we are also one of, I believe, one of two of the full service gas stations in Oneonta, and I believe we're one of 3 in the entire county, and we look to keep it full service because it's extremely beneficial to the older generation, and especially for people that just don't want to pump their gas due to the whole coronavirus issue. So what we are proposing is that we want to add an addition to the building from 375 square feet. We want to take it to a total of 1,500 square feet. So that'll be an addition of 1,125 square feet. And that will basically have us achieve our goal of increasing our inventory and leading the way to profitability. We do understand that currently there is a void in the east end area where the gas station up the road, for whatever reasons, is no longer functioning anymore. So that definitely I believe there's an opportunity for a local convenience store and a bigger convenience store where more than one person can go inside and so that's one reason. And the second reason, especially in these times of great economic distress, where sales tax revenues are getting hit, and businesses are always trying to figure out a way to be profitable. And I believe that more inventory is going to result in more revenue and sales tax, which should help the city of Oneonta. And in return, a larger store would also help as far as property taxes are concerned. So I believe that in every which way it is beneficial to the community. And I'd like to just say that our neighbors have been extremely happy that those that knew us from the past, especially that we bought this gas station, and we're keeping it extremely competitive relative to others. So they've given us a great response, and unfortunately nobody's here to speak on why they would be for it, but we've received a great response from them in the need for a store. So yeah, I guess that's all. Thank you.
Okay. I think that some improvement to that building would look nice.
Yeah.
Thank you.
It could use a little freshening up.
Yes.
Steve, is there any issues as far as and your end that you think that need to be brought up to the board at all?
My only question relates to the fill, or what's the slope on the back of that bank that you're building off?
Yeah, so the slope is as you can see from the roll, so it is extremely steep, and then the only way to build up is to go basically do some groundwork and put a foundation wall straight up and then connect it to the ground level.
So is there gonna be a basement?
Yeah, so there is a basement, exactly.
Okay.
So there will be a basement. It'll just help us for storage purposes, basically. Yeah.
And I'm only bringing that up to, I don't know if that's would affect seeker, or if it's gonna affect any of the environmental review portion of this.
I doubt it. Depends on how much.
Yeah, that's kind of why I threw it out there.
Yeah.
I mean, technically this would fall, this is would fall into like a type 2 category as far as like the expansion itself. But I don't know with that pitch, I don't know if there's any sort of triggering action there that would need to be addressed.
Could I make a point? I spoke with our foundation guys in regards to that, and they did not see it as being an issue. Basically, so normally the foundation would be about the footer would be about 1.5 by 1.5, and we are always wanting to go a step further, and always no matter what we've built in the past, we want to always build it to over the code. So which is why we could build it 1.5, but we're taking a step further by going 2.5 by 2.5, just for more structural stability. So.
I have a question. Is that basement going to be triangular shape, or are you going to go straight down and have a rectangular box in your store? Are you just throwing down the slope and not digging out anything, or are you digging out a full cellar?
So currently, due to that slope, we would just not do as much groundwork because the slope is basically going to help us not dig much of anything since there is a slope there. So we're basically going to level it at a certain level and then have access on the outside through Bilco doors.
Okay. Okay. That's all I have.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So Stephen, are you thinking that it's still a type 2?
I mean, I don't have the, not looking, so I'm just throwing it out there as something that I can't off the top of my head recall if there's anything that would trigger this to be something other than a type 2 action based on the topographic.
I think it's on the type 2 list, isn't it?
It is. I included it as a type 2 action based on what I saw. I just wanted to bring up the slope on the back before you guys, just so everyone was aware that it was a condition at the site.
Did Ed, did you when you were looking at the seeker, did you, like with the other ones, did you feel like they were all pretty much a no to no or more of a moderate?
If this is filed as a type 2 action, then you don't have to do any other.
Oh, really?
I mean, you can, but if you proceed with this as a type 2 action, it's considered to not categorically not have an impact.
Once we say type 2, that's the seeker's over. It's time to go on to the next step. Yeah.
Okay.
So I'd like to make a motion that we call this a type 2 action.
I'll second the motion.
Okay, call roll.
Chair Tomato,
Yes.
Vice Chair Overby,
Yes.
Commissioner Holden, Commissioner Holden,
Yes.
Commissioner Stanton,
Yes.
Commissioner Thomas,
Yes, sorry.
Commissioner Lappin.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Okay, so type 2 action with the seeker. No, so that we can just move right to the site plan? Yes, okay.
It's considered to have no environmental impact.
Okay, perfect. All right. Do we have any more questions for him? Anybody on the board have any more questions regarding this site plan? If not, then I think we can move forward if someone wants to put a motion in.
I put a motion that we move forward.
If one of you has a bird, could you mute yourselves when you're not talking?
A bird?
They may be sick. All right, so we have a motion on the table. Who put the motion out?
Commissioner Stanton.
Yeah, I don't think it was seconded yet.
It was not.
Second.
You have a second.
Okay.
I'll second.
All right, we have a second. Do we have any questions or anything we want to add or anything? We want to discuss this motion or can we move right on to a call on it? I think we can move. All right, Carrie, call roll.
Chair Tomato,
Yes.
Vice Chair Overby,
Yes.
Commissioner Holden,
Yes.
Commissioner Stanton,
Yes.
Commissioner Thomas,
Yes.
Commissioner Lappin.
Yes.
Motion passes.
All right, you're all set. We'll look forward to seeing some changes at that building.
Thank you. I really appreciate everybody for meeting, and I want to especially thank Stephen Yearly and the Code Enforcement Office for being extremely fast and extremely quick on whichever email I sent. They were literally like it was back in like literally seconds sometimes. So I just want to be thankful to them for being just right on top of everything and answering all of my questions. So I thank you. I really appreciate that. Thank you so much.
Well, good luck. Good luck with the business.
Thank
luck.
you. Thank you. Thank you so much. Have a good night.
You too.
You too.
Good night.
Carrie, did 110 Chestnut come on?
110 Chestnut has not come on, no.
Okay, and that's the last then on our agenda, correct?
Correct.
Then is there anybody that wants to, we haven't been on in a while. Is there anybody that wants to share anything before we adjourn? So if we
Yeah.
had enough, yes.
Am I there? My internet connection's bad. It's kind of choppy. So you guys are going to be getting before your next meeting a drafted legislation for an update to the short-term rental ordinance. The City of Oneonta Code requires the Planning Commission to review changes to the zoning ordinance and provide comment before it can be voted on. So you'll have a copy of a final draft that is considered to be, legally, et cetera, comment on it, as well as a draft version of the MU1 zoning district update. That'll be in draft form because it's so much bigger. It's not, a 2-page document. It's like a 40-page document. So it's much more involved. So you'll have a draft version of that and a final copy of the short-term rental ordinance. So ideally at the next meeting, we would, with the short-term rental ordinance, you guys would provide comments at the next meeting, and then those comments, great, no, we think we should do this, this, and this, and those would go to the council, or we would, redraft the ordinance. The MU1 thing, that's a lot bigger, so we can just talk about it. It's not going to be anywhere near a final form because it's just so much bigger and more complex.
Well, how much time are they going to give?
What?
Sorry.
Will we get hard copy?
I mean, we can. Do you want to? Can you do that, Carrie? I mean, I don't know.
I guess it depends on how big it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the short-term rental ordinance is going to be like 3 pages long, maybe.
Okay.
Tops. The MU1 thing will be like 40 pages long. Like it's a lot bigger, and that doesn't include like images. That's just text.
How much time are we going to have to review it? Like, are we going to get it a couple days before our meeting?
No. So as soon as Dave Merzig finalizes the version of the short-term rental ordinance, we'll send that out. I've already sent. So as soon as he finalizes that, you'll get it. The MU1 draft, I'm hoping to send probably in the next, by Monday.
Stephen,
So
you're gonna send that out to the planning committee first, once Dave Merzig has that completed, right?
The short-term rental?
Yeah, just so we could take a look at it, because we didn't have the finalized copy in front of us. We had suggestions. We just wanted to be able to read it.
Yeah, so before you guys can take any action on it, on that.
Say that again?
Before you can do anything with it, the planning commission has to review it and provide comment.
Oh, no, I realized that. But we wanted to see the final form before it got sent to the planning commission, because we haven't seen the final form. We saw the form that at our meeting the other day, and we had some suggestions to change.
Right.
We just wanted to see that copy. I guess even if you send it out to the planning commission at the same time to the planning committee, that's fine with me. We just want to be able to see it and read through it too.
Yeah, we'll send it to everyone. But yeah, so I was directed that we made the recommended changes from the legislative committee. They were then sent to Dave Merzig, and then they'll be sent out we'll just send them out to the group. But before the council can take action, the planning commission has to approve it. Well, provide comment.
Right.
Yeah, we don't approve or disapprove. We just review and comment, right?
Right. It's in the miscellaneous chapter, if you want some reading.
And to clarify, the MU1 regulations, that's going to be like a form-based code, right? That
Yep.
you've been working on.
That's why it's big. That's why it's so big. That's why it's like 40 pages long.
Of course.
It covers a lot of stuff, and the idea is that this would kind of be a groundwork that we could then just apply to the other zoning districts. So some of it is, I don't want to say it's redundant, but some of it where it would just kind of, you know, expand in like the NU2 zone and some of the other zones.
Well, we'll be looking forward to that.
A lot of light reading.
Yeah. Well, guys, thanks for coming on. I think we can adjourn.
I think
for the
Carrie wants
night.
to say something.
Thank you.
Hold on one thing. Stephen, can you stay on for a second? Is that possible, Carrie, to have us have a 2-minute sidebar after this?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Before we adjourn, 110 Chestnut Street, do you want them directed to appear, tabled and directed to appear at the next meeting?
Yeah, that'd probably be best.
Yeah, I think
If I could
so.
have a motion and a second for that, so I can put that in writing for the applicant.
Don't move.
Second.
Call roll.
Chair Tomato,
Yes.
Vice Chair Overby,
Yes.
Commissioner Holden,
Yes.
Commissioner Stanton,
Yes.
Commissioner Thomas,
Yes.
and Commissioner Lappin.
Yes.
Passes.
Well, actually, we have Stephen on, just in case they do come back next month. Was there concern about asbestos on that 110?
So the way asbestos is handled by the state of New York, the Department of Labor oversees that. So what we have in our demolition permit is an advisement to the applicant that they are required to basically comply with or be aware of the asbestos handling laws. Approval is basically say they have to have an asbestos survey done. But our department does not enforce asbestos handling.
Okay,
I
and
mean,
then on this,
basically it's a garage that potentially could have asbestos because it was built prior to 1979 or whatever. So, yeah.
and then the other question that we had asked Carrie earlier, there was no SEF on this. Is it because it's was it unlisted action?
Yeah. So my opinion on that is that they're not. It's a temporary act. They're bulldozing a building, so there's really no environmental impact in that. If you type 2 action, if you wanted to build a 3-unit house there, it would be a type 2. I mean, the threshold for seeker on those actions are type 2. So the removal of that building is not triggering any environmental impact because building that building wouldn't trigger an environmental impact.
Okay, well, that's good to know. So when they come back, if they come back, then we've got those questions answered.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean they're not going to come up again, but we've got them answered. Okay, Carrie, is that it?
Now you're good. Yeah.
All right, good. Nice to see everybody. Hope you're well.
Take care. Sorry for bringing my dog around and setting off